Something subtle has been happening over the last 15 years. It didn't arrive suddenly. There was no clear moment where everything changed, but slowly, almost quietly, a large portion of human life moved online. And for many people, the digital world is beginning to replace parts of real life that used to happen offline. Think about how a typical evening looks for a lot of people today. Work ends, someone goes home, maybe they eat dinner, then they sit down and open their phone or computer. From that point forward, most of their interaction with the world happens through a screen. They scroll through social media, watch videos, read posts, send messages, maybe play video games online, maybe watch a show while checking their phone at the same time. Hours pass that way. It feels like engagement with the world because information is constantly flowing, but physically, nothing has changed. You're still sitting in the same place. I'm still sitting at the same place. Before the internet became central to daily life, a lot of those evening hours looked different. People visited friends more often. They met at local places. They joined clubs or recreational groups. Even small things like going to a cafe or walking through a neighborhood created opportunities to interact with other people. Those environments created what sociologists sometimes called accidental social interaction. Like, you didn't need to schedule every conversation. You simply existed in spaces where other people were also present, and we don't have that today. A short conversation might start while waiting in line, but now you're grabbing coffee and you're awkward. You don't talk to anyone, you just whip out your phone, and you have nothing to check on your phone, but you just do it out of habit. In the past, though, while you were waiting in line, maybe somebody would introduce you to someone else. A regular place slowly became a community because the same people kept showing up. Many of those environments, though, have faded. Not completely, but enough that daily life for many people now happens mostly between home, work, or the internet. And the internet offers something that real life doesn't: effortless engagement. You could access endless entertainment without leaving your chair. You could observe thousands of lives without participating in any one of them. You can consume information constantly without needing to contribute anything yourself. And the brain finds that incredibly appealing. Human psychology naturally gravitates towards environments where stimulation is just easy to access. Just think about dopamine. But there is a trade off. Online interaction is efficient, but it's often passive. What do I mean by that? Watching someone talk on a screen is not the same as being part of the conversation. Reading people's thoughts online is not the same as experiencing their personality in real life. The internet lets you observe humanity, but observation is different from participation. Over time, that distinction becomes incredibly important because relationships grow through participation. That is also why we have such a big loneliness epidemic, because people just forgot the face to face interactions. Shared experiences create memories, conversations create understanding, and physical presence creates familiarity. When large portions of life just move entirely online, those experiences become less common. And look, you guys, I hate it. I hate it. I hate that that's the direction the world is going in. But with technology being so prevalent in our society today, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not going to change. If anything, it's only going to get worse. Like, people still interact, but the interactions are thinner. Shorter messages, shorter attention spans, less patience for long conversations. Meanwhile, the content available online becomes increasingly engaging. Platforms compete intensely to keep users watching, scrolling, clicking, reacting. Every improvement in recommendation algorithms means that the next piece of content is slightly more interesting than the last, so your attention stays online longer. The idea is just to always be online. And gradually, real world experiences start feeling slower by comparison. A quiet dinner conversation competes with a feed that's designed by thousands of engineers to maximize engagement. It's impacting our life, and we're acting like it doesn't. A simple evening with friends competes with a digital world that offers constant novelty. Real life often loses that competition because, like, the dopamine's not the same, so naturally you just you stick to doing stuff online. But the irony is that real life is where many of the experiences that give life meaning actually occur, because you don't remember all of the online stuff. You remember the face to face. The best conversations people remember rarely happen through comment sections or Reddit feeds or wherever else we are spending our time on. The strongest friendships rarely form through passive scrolling. The memories people carry for decades usually come from moments where they were fully present somewhere with other people, whether it be a trip, a vacation, a late night conversation, a shared challenge, a project built together. Those experiences require participation. They require time away from the endless stream of digital content. And the internet itself isn't inherently harmful. That is not the point of this video. It is one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever created. It can educate, connect, and open opportunities that never existed before. But like any powerful tool, it shapes the environment around it. With great responsibility comes great power. And when the digital world becomes easier to live in than the physical one, people naturally drift toward it. The loneliness that so many people feel today might not come from a lack of people, but it comes from a lack of shared real world experiences and a lack of connection. Because at the end of the day, human connection still grows the same way it always has, not through observation, but through participation. That's all I got on this video. It was a quick one, not usually the type of content that I am making. Normally we're discussing things like making money, taking control of your life, things like that. A lot of other very, very important and useful videos that you could watch after this one. But I just had to take some time and discuss my thoughts. I don't know when this video is going live, but I just went to St. Patrick's Day celebration in Chicago. It's a huge event every single year. They dyed the river green. And it was incredibly nice to just connect with friends face to face. And I actually wasn't going to go initially because I don't live in the city, so it was a very far commute. And I wasn't going to make the trip, but I had a friend that I haven't met with in a long time. It's been maybe like half a year since the last time I met face to face with him. And I have to say, after doing it, it was really nice. It was nice to decompress, not think about my phone, go to the bar, enjoy some music, have a few drinks, meet a few other people, interact, like that face-to-face connection, that face-to-face participation. Yeah, we need it more in our world ever than before. Nobody seems to be talking about it. And I think the older generation is still good with it because they're not as quick and tech savvy with the phones as the younger generation. But I'm only 23 years old, and I'm telling you that the face-to-face connection is very needed in our generation of young people. We are so connected and glued to our phones that it's getting really, really out of hand. And I just had to make this video here talking about it because it's causing a lot of problems. It does so many great things for us, no doubt, but it also creates a lot of problems. I have another video, I believe the one before this, where we discuss the loneliness epidemic, and a big part of the reason why people, especially young people, are feeling so lonely is because of the internet. Everyone is just glued to their phones. Even when I was making the trip to get to the city, we ended up taking the train. Nobody was just talking to people next to them. People had AirPods in, people were glued to their phones, and some of these people were commuting for well over an hour, and there wasn't one hello, how are you, just basic communication skills. Everybody just defaults to their phones and just not talking at all. It's very weird what's happening, but it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better. Let me know what you guys think about this topic in general in the comment section. Do you guys agree with what I'm saying? Do you believe that, because I don't think the internet is harmful. I think with everything in moderation, it's okay. But it seems like we are overusing it because the digital world is becoming easier to live in than the physical one. And I think that's why so many people are drifting and just, it's very convenient to just take your phone out. Does anybody ever have this where you take your phone out and out of habit, you're opening Instagram Reels, TikTok, just anything like that? Because it's happened to me, which is why I've been trying to take a break from social media, not from like YouTube or anything like that, but mainly from like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and just trying to get off of the short form content. Every now and then I'll still consume YouTube Shorts. I think YouTube as a platform is not as bad as some of the other ones, but man, Instagram Reels, you could go down a rabbit hole. TikTok, same thing. And the brain finds that incredibly appealing, that you can just keep scrolling and keep getting new information. And I believe our brains are gravitating towards this environment where the stimulation is super easy to access. But over the long term, I don't think it's incredibly healthy for us. I don't think it's great. But Again, let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and with that, we will catch you here on the next one.